Hi Silhouetters, it's Doodling Debbie here with another video tutorial. One of the ladies on our forum wants to do decoupages and she had asked a question if she could use her images from her CD. Yes, she can as long as she saves them to her computer, has a PNG file, a JPEG file, and if you're using the Studio Designer Edition, you can save them in other ways. Well, we're going to get started here because our time is pretty limited on me doing these videos. So I have a PNG file I already saved, a decoupaged image, and I saved it as a PNG file. So I'm going to go to File, Open. I'm going to go down here and see there's in Silhouette Designer Edition you have GSD and the SVG and PNG and JPEG and all these different options, TIFFs. But I saved this as a PNG, so I'm going to select PNG. There's my lovebirds. I'm going to go OK, and there they are. This is my decoupage about ready to go here. Now the thing is that I saved this as one big long element, and each one of these I want separate so I can move them around, because once we get to our part where we have to show our registration marks, I want to be able to move them around to stay inside the registration marks. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to draw a rectangle around my first little set of lovebirds here. Now I'm going to click on the image. I'm going to hold down my shift key and select this. So this rectangle needs to be selected and my image needs to be selected. I'm going to go here to the modify tool, which has the little M icon up here, and I'm going to select crop. There we go. Now I'm going to right click and copy it and go over to my Untitled Studio down here, and then I'm going to right click and I'm going to paste it. So there's one portion of my lovebirds. Okay, now I'm going to delete this out. I'm going to open it again, the same file. I'm going to have to do this 3 times because there's 3 different areas here. So let's go back to our PNG. I'm going to open up my decoupage birds again. And you might find a quicker shortcut to this than I do it, but this is how I've done it. Creature of habit, I guess. Okay, I didn't make my rectangle quite big enough here, so I need to select my rectangle and move it over just a bit. And I can also reduce this if I want. Okay, so now my rectangle selected. I'm going to hold down my shift key, select the entire image, and do the same thing. Crop. There we go. I'm going to right click this. And you can do this all on one page, but I just like to copy and paste it. So I'm going to go cut and paste. So there's the second part of my decoupage. And I know I don't want to save any changes to that. Okay, so here we are again. Now File, Open. I'm going to select the PNG file again. Go to my lovebirds. Okay, and we're down to my last little image here. I'm going to make a little rectangle around it. And I can make this even smaller. Okay, so now my rectangle is around the third part of my decoupage. So I'm going to right click and select the whole image, holding down the shift key. Click, holding down the shift key. So now my image is selected and the third part of my decoupage is selected. And once again, we go to that modify tool and select crop. Now I'm just going to do that cut because I'm not going to use this portion anymore. So cut. I'm going to go to my Untitled Studio over here and paste it with the rest of my images. There we go. Now I can just close out these two. No, I don't want to save that because nothing's there. And I'm going to close out this. Nothing's there. Okay, now I have all 3 of my elements for my decoupage. And now we're going to start doing our auto trace. I'm going to zoom in on this a little more so you guys can see it. Okay, now here's the first part of my decoupage. I'm going to go over here to my auto trace window, select Trace Area. I'm going to select my trace area by dragging this little bluish rectangle around my image. And now you can see the yellow. Well, that shows that it's tracing, but we need to turn off our high pass filter and we need to increase the threshold. And I want it, and as soon as I get finished doing this, it looks like I'm going to need to increase it all the way to 100%. I'm going to zoom in on this area again to show you guys something up closer. Okay, now I have my image traced. And since I want this little area of the bird in the center of this heart cut out in this area, I'm going to select the trace option at the very top by clicking on trace. Okay, now as you can see, we've got some elements in here that we really don't care to have. So I'm just going to drag this down for the moment. You want to right click, release compound path, and that's going to make all of these little pieces separate elements. I'll show you. Like if I move this up, which I really wouldn't want to do, that's because it became a separate element when I released the compound path. So I'm going to go up here and click that undo button. I'm going to select this line that I do not want to cut. It's not part of my image, and I'm going to delete it. And if you look around, there's another little place I don't want cut, so I select that and delete it. You can go in and zoom in even more to check it out thoroughly. Okay, that looks pretty good to me, so I'm going to take my image and drag it right back up here, get it lined up to cut. And that looks pretty good. Now remember, if you like your cuts to be closer, you can edit these points, and I have a video tutorial on that. Because say I would like this one here, I double clicked on it. Now I'm in point editing mode, and I stretch that out, move that up about here, move that over here. And of course, I would probably zoom in even more for this. And the same way with this here. If I wanted to edit some of this, bring it into this curve a little more here, get it closer up to the black line, you do this in point editing mode. And sometimes it's such a tiny little area, it doesn't really make a whole lot of difference. But I like mine cut pretty close. And that's why when I do this, I spend a lot of time on them, and I make sure that I save these files so I can use them again and again. Okay, and right here I would definitely bring those in, but that's good for now. Okay, now I have this. We're going to reduce this, go down again so I can make sure I have everything selected. And I'm going to group it because now my cut file and my image will all be together. Okay, to save time, you know how to do your auto trace. You know how to do some point editing on them if you want. And so let's zoom in just a little bit so you guys can see what's going on. So now say we've done all of these already. The next step, we're ready to go and start to do our print and cut. Okay, we're going to go up here and we're going to select our registration marks. I click on this button here, show registration marks. Now remember, you can resize these registration marks. I try to leave them about that. It seems like the electronic eye reads them better, but there's been times when I've had to. So you just resize them by doing this. But I'm going to click that undo button because we have plenty of room. I have my 3 elements. I can probably duplicate these. Say, for example, if I wanted to make more than one card, you just hold down your control button and that'll copy it and drag it over here. And there's another copy, and you can keep on doing this with all of your elements until it fills the page. Now remember, you cannot go outside of this hash mark area because if this element here, the birds, were laying this way, it would cut out all of this here inside the white, but it would leave this uncut. So make sure that when you're doing a print and cut, you keep your images inside this hash marked area. Okay, now the next step is to just go up here and send it to your silhouette. You'll have an option to print, and It will print out your registration marks, load it into your silhouette, and start your beautiful decoupage. Okay, I hope this video tutorial has helped you a little bit on learning how to do this. If you have any questions, just hop onto the Silhouette Plus forum, and either myself or one of the other members there will be happy to help. Have a great day. Bye.